Manjit. I used to be an AV technician, and now I'm restoring classic vehicles from France, which we convert into bars or food trucks and campers, and etc. Used to be a projectionist, and most of the stuff was corporate events, long hours. Had a little baby not long ago. That kind of changes your aspect on life as well. And now I'm back to doing restorations, which I used to do a long time ago. So it's something I enjoy, and now's the opportunity really to get back into it. When you're freelance, you are your own boss, but only to a certain extent, aren't you? You know, here it's free reign. You can knock off whenever you want to knock off. If I've got stuff to do at home, I can come in late. If I've got to look after the little man, I can do that. It's just nice to do something like this again. It's just nice to be actually doing something, getting something that's pretty rusty and converting it into something new that someone's going to use to start making themselves some money. So it's a bit of an achievement, really. We'll look at the vehicle and say it needs, obvious welding here or there, or do they want a better vehicle? So it just depends on their budget. So you'll work out what it needs doing on the outside, and then we'll work with them. If they're saying it's too expensive, then we'll change a few things. You have to think about changing flooring instead of expensive stuff, put a little bit cheaper, but it still all needs to be hygiene, non-slip, that kind of things. Depending on what equipment they've got in there, it's a bit of a learning curve with certain things, like with the equipment you're putting in and the regulations of everything now on food trucks changing quite a lot. So you have to keep up to date with all of that, with everything you're doing. Now we've done a few of them, we have a kind of base. This is how much it is for electrics. Your water system has a standard counter. Some people might want to take it to a next level and then put tiles in it and do this and do that. So then, you have to start pricing up for that. So, we have a structure now, so you can give people a rough estimate of what it's going to cost them. We're getting quite busy with the food trucks because there's no uncertainty of what's happening with events. A lot more outdoor events will happen, more like markets and things like that. So, we're quite busy. We're open to doing not just vans and stuff, we'll be doing cars. Main aim will be probably doing concourse high-end cars at some point, or even vans, V-dubs and stuff like we used to do before. We're slowly starting to supply parts and get rubbers, door rubbers, seals and stuff made for these vans because you can't buy them, selling them on the market. So slowly, a little shop could open with it, alongside doing classic parts and bits and pieces. We've got a couple coming over, we've got a couple of Mercedes vans, the old 608, big old Mercedes ones coming over, one from Poland, one from Sweden, which we're going to do campers in. So we're not going to stick to just food trucks, we're going to do camper side of stuff. Probably look at modifying these, maybe hot rod one up. We're going to look at engine replacements, power steering, that kind of situation. A lot of people think they can just get into these vehicles and drive halfway across the country to do a food show, which you can if you look after it and you know your mechanics, but 50 mile an hour and you're going from like Cornwall to London or something, it's every hour you add half an hour. So we're looking at putting in VW Passat engines, TDIs, and doing some power steering kind of modifications to make things easier for people, making them more desirable for people who want them for food trucks. I think it needs to be that step up. I think with the Citroen HY vans you can put a Ford Pinto engine in, so it just makes it a bit more reliable for people who want to get into the business but want a vintage vehicle but don't really know anything about mechanics. Well, the street food scene's gone crazy anyway, isn't it? I think that's happened worldwide. I think it's getting a bit more of a boost because I think a lot of restaurants who couldn't stay open are moving to little vehicles where they can park up on private land or do something here and there. And I think, we've got a bit of a surge in it at the moment, but we'll see what happens with it all. This pandemic has shown that you can just go off and do something different. There's a lot of opportunity out there if you feel like you can do something. Now's the time to try it out, because otherwise you're back at work, you haven't got the time to do it because you're back at that old rat race again, aren't you? I think if you want to go for it, just chance it now. You haven't got much to lose at the moment with trying something out, and there's good bargains out there for trying to get the premises because a lot of them are empty, so it's a good time to try and do something, and just stick with it.